Blume edit. The Blume edit. The Blume edit.
The Blume
edit. The Blume edit.
You're listening to The Blume Edit, where we talk all things beauty, business, and being unfiltered. I'm your host, Kia from Blume Aesthetics. Welcome back to The Blume Edit. I'm Kia from Blume Aesthetics. Today's guest is one of Australia's most exciting new artists, Dani Enli, a Chinese-Australian singer-songwriter from Perth who left a medical career to chase music and is already making global waves. She's blending pop, R&B, trap and Jersey club genres, producing and writing her own music and earning attention from huge names in the industry. Dani, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for the intro.
No,
oh my
it's my pleasure. You deserve it. And obviously your outfit is amazing. You've come all pink.
You always
beautiful.
look
Oh, thank you. Is pink sort of a colour you wear often?
Yeah, I feel like pink and blue is my vibe. Like since I've been an artist, I definitely like being able to wear colour for once. Like it's been
not
fun.
just scrubs.
Yeah, no, exactly. You get it.
Amazing. Well, let's get started. So let's start with the big shift. You were on track for medicine, but then you chose music. What was the tipping point that made you actually make that decision?
Well, I feel like it was already on my mind when I started clinical years. Like, I'm sure it was the same for you, but like you really don't know what you're getting into until you start working in the hospital. Like, studying is fun, but like you don't get a taste of the job until you're there. And I was already kind of just feeling like it's maybe not for me. Like, I just wasn't loving it as much as I hoped. And then what happened was I actually got diagnosed with a super rare neurological condition called complex regional pain syndrome, or CRPS, and that just changed my life. Like, in my final year of medical school, I couldn't like walk, I couldn't do daily activities, like I couldn't put on my shoes, I couldn't get out from bed, and it was just like that tipping point where I was like, oh my gosh, life is short, you don't know when you can't do what you love, and I'm not doing what I love. So I just didn't want to be in a place where I could never have the chance to give it a go. So I was like, after final year, I'll take a gap year, and give music a go. And now I'm here.
Amazing. Did you find like the stresses of medicine, I guess, would that sort of flare up your symptoms, or is it kind of just you always have the symptoms?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, it's your nervous system,
Yeah.
right? And like, if you've done anything, if you're anywhere in healthcare, you know like what that environment's like. Like, it's very hard not to activate your nervous system because you have to pay attention to people. Like, if it's not activated, you're probably not doing your job. So yeah, absolutely.
Crazy. And so now that you're doing what you want to do, things are calming down, you're probably feeling a lot more comfortable in your skin and things like that.
Absolutely. Like, it's definitely been a ride with that condition, but I have to say, like, I'm the best I've been, and I think it's because, yeah, like you said, like, I'm just so enjoying what I'm doing in life, and it's such a blessing for sure.
Amazing. Was there much fear in leaving like a job or a career so stable, and how did you handle the transition?
Of course. Of course, that was so scary. Like, I feel like it's a constant journey of handling the situation. Like, you know, growing up, especially like Asian, and growing up, you know, from an educated background, that is kind of like often seen as the best thing you can do with your life. So it was a big decision to make. But I think in myself, I knew it was what I had to do. And it's kind of just about like reminding yourself that that's your path. And like, yeah. And even though it's scary, like I wouldn't have it any other way. And like reminding myself of why I did it. But yeah, it is scary because it's just like what you're not meant to, it's everything you're not meant to do.
And I think like reward comes from risk. So you took a risk and it seems to be paying off. You wouldn't, like you said, you wouldn't know if you didn't try, and you don't want to be living a life of something you don't want to be doing.
That's exactly it. And like, I guess some people choose like not to take risks in life, and that's so okay. But I think life is so like enriching and fulfilling when you do take the risk. So
I think when I shifted from hospital nursing into aesthetics or cosmetics, that was a big risk. But then having my business, I've taken so many risks now past the past 5 years. It's like you're continuously taking risks. So that first one, that was quite scary for me as well, leaving the hospital, leaving something so stable. I think in the back of my head, I was always like, I can always go back. Like, we can all, you know, you can always go back, but always then thinking, well, I don't want to. but I can.
Yeah.
It's always there.
Wow. Yeah.
Take agency or something,
I relate to your journey
Yeah.
so much as well.
Yeah.
It must have been so like cool learning all the it's so impressive you learning all the business stuff so quickly as well.
I think like having business I thrive with, but then being able to combine it with the clinical that I still enjoy is pretty special. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, your single I Like You went viral and you've now built serious momentum. What did that hit do for you internally and externally?
Internally, it changed my life because I had been doing music for less than a year at that point, and it was coming to the crunch time where it was in December, so I was like, do I go back to medicine at this point? It's been my gap year's up.
Oh, bye.
Like, guys, do I get out of here now? And that was kind of that response was like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this, because making music is weird. It's so online now. I'm just at home writing and producing songs and putting them out there online. It feels like it's very easy to have imposter syndrome and to feel like, what am I doing? And so getting that response just gave me that extra bit of motivation and confirmation that hey, I should trust myself in this. And then I think more externally and in terms of the industry, it's definitely what built my fan base and also got the attention of other people in the music industry. And it's something that I did not expect at all. It was a bit of a pivot to the other 2 songs I put out. And it just goes to show that you never really know what could happen. You just got to keep putting yourself out there. So yeah, it was big for me.
Amazing. And you've been noticed, like you said, by big names such as SZA and Swae Lee. Swae Lee? Yes,
Yeah.
Swae Lee. What's that recognition like when you're still forging your own path?
I think it's just number one, at the end of the day, you're still a fan. So you also just have a fan moment when that happens. So number one, you're just kind of freaking out as a fan. But number 2, it's obviously the people you look up to, their opinions mean so much to you, and that goes with anything in life. And to have that response from people people's music you look up to and as people is such a rewarding thing. And I guess it as much as your friends and family and your fans loving your music, having someone who's where you want to be, your music, it means a lot.
It confirms that you're doing the right thing, and it's I know what I'm doing. This person who's an expert in the field is recognizing my hard work.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Well, let's talk process. Are you a melody first kind of artist, or do lyrics usually come first to you? Paint us a picture of how your tracks sort of come together.
Oh my gosh, I love these questions. I love talking about this. It's always changing. And I think that's what I realized is the key to keep making good music is change. For the longest time, I was just melody first. The melody would just come to me, and then I'd make the production around the melody. Yeah. And then I went through this period where I just wasn't, the creativity wasn't coming to me. I'm sure you've experienced creativity isn't something that you have control over academically or in nursing. So then I was I have to change it. So then I would start with the beat, and I would top line over that. So write the melody over the beat. The lyrics tend to come with the melody at the same time. You kind of, if I'm freestyling, you're kind of mumbling things, and then you realize, oh, okay, that's what the song is about, and you kind of flesh it a bit more after. But it's constantly changing, and I think that has been what's kept me in that creative state. Yeah.
Have you had training, musical training?
No. As a kid, I did piano lessons, like all Asian kids have, and I've never had vocal lessons. I never learnt how to produce or learn how to do those things. I just kind of picked it up. Then I have to say though, my dad, I grew up with my dad writing songs and my dad making music, so that was just familiar to me. I guess it was normal that people were making songs randomly. So there's that too.
So a lot of my followers, my clients, patients, things like that don't actually know. I went to WAPA before becoming a nurse. Straight out of high school, I went to the West Australian Academy of Performing Arts for classical guitar. And
that's so cool.
I sort of tried turning a hobby into a career. And I think, this is my opinion, I think I was really good at playing music, but I was really, really bad at writing music. And I found it really difficult. And someone like yourself who's had no formal training and can just put music together like you do, it just sounds so like natural. Like for me, it was so forced. Some of my assignments was create a song, and I couldn't, like, I had, like, my creativity was very different. Whereas for you, it's just like so easy. Like you're like, oh, the lyrics just come. What do you mean? Like what? Like it just sounds so like it's all intuitive for you. Like, and I'm assuming that's kind of how it feels, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, by the way, that's so cool. Like, what can't you do? I mean, I think I'm just like the opposite of you. Like, I hate playing instruments. Like, I've played the piano, I've played the clarinet, I've tried to play the guitar. I just like don't have the patience for it. But I can make things like all the time. But we'd probably make a great song because we balance each other out at this point. But yeah, I think it's, I'm like the opposite of you in that way.
People always ask, do you still play? And I'm like, unfortunately, I wear acrylic nails.
Yeah, you're like,
so
I've got different priorities now.
No. And my dog used to get scared of the instruments.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't. So if you could collaborate with one artist this year, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh, one artist is so hard. It's so hard. But I think I'd have to say Doja Cat. There is something about, like, I think even though she's like a big star, she's so underrated. Like, her ability to like rap, sing, dance, perform. Also, she can like fill out an arena and it just be her and it be like the best show ever. I think like as a performer, like she is the standard. She's like the top tier for me. So I think collabing would be cool because like the visuals would be visualing as well. But also like I feel like when she blew up in like the pop media, she was like the only person that had like a unique pop. It was still pop, but it was like a unique sound. And like I think she just did things differently, and that's like kind of what I want to do with my career and where I draw inspiration from as well.
Have that point of difference that people can sort of know as your sort of brand,
yes.
I guess.
I guess from like a business and a marketing perspective as well, I just admire her as an artist from top to bottom, like in all areas, not just the music itself as well. So yeah.
Have you seen her live?
I haven't. Oh my gosh, she's coming. I hope I can see her. But like, that would be epic.
Not too long. She's coming soon, isn't she? Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be away then. But like, she's just like, I've watched like probably every single video of her live though. Just as like cool. Study, because
she's such a vibe.
She is.
So you've already gained international attention. Do you feel pressure to go global quickly, or are you playing the long game when it comes to your career?
I feel like I don't know if it's pressure from the growth or just more like pressure from what I wanted, like what I've always wanted. Because I think like I've always wanted to be a global artist, like, and have a platform where I can reach people, especially like people of like all diversity, like just a diverse group of people. So I think I've always had that pressure on myself, I guess, because like that's where I would like to be. But I think now like you kind of do have to play the long game in a lot of ways, just because like music is so different to what it used to be, and it's no longer like really just about the music. And I think a lot of people get upset about that, but I actually really appreciate that. And I think like it's always a long game, and like now it's really about the fans and building community, and how else can you bring them value besides music and with your story, and like what's your purpose as an artist beyond just the meaning of the music as well. So I think it's a bit of both. It's like the long game, but like I would love to be a global artist. Like I guess who wouldn't, but like that would be a dream.
Do you have a following at all from like your Chinese? Is that right? Yeah. Do you have a Chinese following at all, or not yet?
My family is like Malaysian Chinese, so like I was born here, but they were all born in Malaysia, and I do have quite a decent Malaysian, just like Southeast Asian following in general, which I'm so grateful for. But yeah, surprisingly, my following is actually majority from like America. So that's the thing, like with online, like you never know who's going to resonate with your music, which is so nice. But I guess that's what also gives me that motivation of like I really want to go global so I can reach these people in person and like play to them in person.
So you haven't performed anywhere overseas?
Not overseas yet. Yet. I'm manifesting next year. Yeah. I think Asia will happen next year.
Cool.
But yeah, we'll see.
Exciting. Well, let's talk sound. So you blend R&B, pop, trap, Jersey club. How do you land on that mix of genres?
I think it's something I'm still trying to figure out, but I think as a person, like I've always listened to such a big variety of music that like I never intended on being like, oh, I want to be like this number of genres, but I think the influences just came out when I'm writing a song. So I feel like it's just come naturally, I guess, how I've landed on the genres based off like what I've listened to and like what I pull from. And I think also like as a dancer, I always like listen to music and think about how I could dance with it. And I think all of those genres have an element that like is really nice to dance to. So I think sometimes just naturally like the way I write and the way I like think about movement and stuff, like I just pull from those genres in like different pockets based off that. But I think yeah, it's just kind of like, for me, like music's just like a mix of like everything I love. And I guess it just comes out in that way, yeah.
I always had this weird sort of mix. So because I studied classical guitar, so I studied classical music, and I really, really enjoyed playing that on the guitar because it is, like a lot of people don't realise it's quite different to just like acoustic, right?
It's so different, yeah.
And it's really complex pieces. It's reading really complex sheet music, which was really enjoyable to me, but I didn't enjoy listening to it. So I would really enjoy playing Beethoven, but I don't like listening to it. I just would enjoy playing it. So it was always really interesting that people then thought because that was what I enjoyed playing, that was also what I would enjoy listening to. And I'm like, no, I don't want to hear myself. I just want to play it. It feels satisfying to play.
I totally relate to that because I feel like it's like dancing and like ballet and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you love dancing to the pieces, but you wouldn't listen to any of the music, or like you're not going to go out and bust those moves.
Yeah.
But like it's so
rewarding,
fun.
challenging, rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so from the surgeon's coat to studio lights, image matters. How has your sense of beauty or self-care changed since making that transition?
This has like been a big realization for me, especially this year. But I didn't realize how much you're encouraged, especially in like healthcare, to just like not care about your appearance. And I always thought like, I think I grew up, or at least like from being in that environment, I really thought that was a noble, like selfless thing, and like that's how it should be. And like you should feel good about yourself because you're like as nothing as you can be, you know what I mean? Like that is the most
You're
selfish,
a worker.
best version of yourself you can be. And then I realized that like, especially if you're a creative person and like you like expressing yourself, and like also just like self-care wise, like it's so unhealthy. And I think it's only this year when I realized like, oh wow, I actually don't know how to take care of myself, because you're meant to just learn how to take care of other people. So it's only this year where I'm like, oh, what is self-care, like really? And like, how am I taking care of myself? And like, how do I feel good in myself? And like, so it's like this year where I've like finally been learning how to do that. Like, I'm not the type of person that wears makeup usually, like, and then when I started doing music, I would only get ready for music videos. So like you'd never see me in makeup unless it's like music videos. But I've seen the value this year and like how much better I feel about myself, presenting myself in a way that like I enjoy. Like I just never valued that at all before.
And I guess like we said earlier, like nails, like we in hospitals you can never wear nails. You're not allowed to wear nails. So even
No
just
nails.
as simple as that, like
No personality.
you can be creative. Exactly.
And the little things matter is what I realized.
Yeah.
I think it's just like over like glorified, or like it's looked up to, like especially in those professions, like the less you draw attention to yourself, it's like, oh, that's like, you know, like if you did draw attention to yourself, they're like, oh, it's like, you know, one of those. Yeah. So I'm trying to rewire my brain.
Well, when you're performing or producing, you're also managing your brand. What are your non-negotiables when it comes to skin, styling or image on stage?
On stage, I think that number one is you have to be, it's so easy as an artist to be like, especially if you're just styling yourself and you don't know what you're doing, it's like draw inspiration from somewhere, right? But I think it's so important to be yourself and like genuinely, like at least at the start, explore and dress how you want to dress, do your makeup how you want to make. Because that also, like, I mean, you're the queen of branding as well. Like, that's what makes your brand. Like, not trying to, like, look to these big artists and be like, oh, I should be doing that. I should be doing this. And I feel like I would have found my style so much quicker if I just genuinely was like, oh, what do I like? Like sometimes it's as easy as what do I like? Not like what's like looking good right now, or like what do people like, or like this is what people say that would look good on me. So I think it's number one is just like dressing how I want, like doing my makeup how I want. And I think the other thing is like just sleep. Because I as an artist, like I don't get much sleep, and that's the main thing that helps me look good on stage, to be honest, is sleep, which I'm still trying to learn, because it's very easy to not sleep at all during like touring and performing. Like it's such a stimulating environment to be in that it's so hard to wind down. But I think like sleep is what makes me have like that energy and that performance on stage. Like when I'm looking back at performances and I'm like, why do I look like that? It's like, oh yeah, I didn't sleep that night.
I mean, you'd be an expert at that from medicine as well, right?
Yeah.
Lack of sleep. So you're probably used to it, but you never used to look at the way you look and reflect on that.
No, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
So true.
And also what you were saying about looks wise, do what you want. You're then going to be your most comfortable. Like I know for a fact that if I borrow a friend's dress or I wear someone else's outfit because they're telling me to do it, I feel so uncomfortable. I feel so weird, you know. I think as an adult, I've always dressed the way I wanted. I always look the way I like. You know, I've got my hands covered in tattoos, and that, you know, that could carry a stigma in itself. I know Bree, who does my content, I would always apologise to her when I'd get new tattoos on my hands because they're going to be in all our photos. But she also knows that's the style that I have, you know. So I do what I want to do, but it's what makes me feel comfortable. That's,
Exactly.
you know. You're the same on stage.
That's just so true. And I think like whenever you're doing a job that's like creative and stuff, and like people can always see through, like people can see if you're being authentic or not. And I think all those little things just like make such a difference. Like if you're truly yourself, I feel like people will connect with you on a different level. And it's the same with like your podcast and everything you do as well.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, your music often touches on self-empowerment, change, confidence. What's the message you hope people walk away with after hearing your music?
To be honest, it's kind of like honesty and like authenticity. It's kind of, there's a lot of things I write about nowadays that I wouldn't even like go around talking about. But I think there's beauty in just being honest, and like even when you're feeling a certain way that like might be embarrassing, or like you wouldn't go tell your friends, or like you wish you could have done this better, or you know, like you're really like you shouldn't have been feeling for that guy. Like I'd rather just be honest about it and like make it a beautiful thing. So I think what I want people to take away is like to just like embrace like yourself as it is, like with all your flaws and like your mistakes, and just like be able to own it. It is such a freeing thing.
And that's probably really relatable for a lot of people listening as well. They're like, you know, she goes through breakups, I go through breakups, you know, like people want to hear that other people are experiencing the same thing that they're going through.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like my favorite part about music. Like that's like music has gotten me through so much. Like to be able to do that for other people is like always the goal. Yeah.
Well, as someone who moved from a very structured career into a creative one, what advice would you give someone who's torn between their two worlds?
I think it's so individual, but I think my advice is always that if you are going to be on your deathbed and if you never gave that other thing a go and you're going to feel like, oh, that was a waste, like then you need to try it. Because like what's the point of life? Like literally what's the point? So I think you should definitely try it, but I think there's so many ways you can go about trying it. And like, you know, there were so many options. I could have kept working and that would have been great. I would have had more financial stability. Like there's so many ways you can do it, but I think like you'd know in yourself what feels right. And I think there's nothing wrong with having extra security, and not like it's not being brave either. Like to like invest more in a stable career and try to do it on the side. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's also nothing wrong if you're able to just give it your all, like to just throw everything into it and quit your job if you can, like, and go for it. Like I think there's nothing wrong with it, but I think my advice is always that like like you only have one life, so you may as well just give it a go. Like just give it a go. Yeah.
Did you have a crossover? Like, did you start doing your music while you were still working?
Yeah, like I've been writing music since I was like 16 years old, and like I always wanted to do music and like be a performer. Like I started dancing when I was like 3-4 years old. So I think like it's always been a part of my life, but it was more like, it always felt like, the temptation, like it was just a temptation. Like I had to try not to want to do that as a career and keep it as a hobby. But yeah, I was writing music through med school. That is honestly what got me through it. Like I think if I didn't have music, like it would have been a shit show. I don't know if I can swear, but
yeah, of course you can. I think like from my experience, I don't know why, but it almost felt like going off the normal path when you're in medicine or, clinical, it feels like risque and like wrong. You're almost doing the wrong thing, and I used to tell people, because I had a crossover as well when I was at the hospital, and it almost felt like people are judging you for trying something different, and I don't know if it was their own insecurities, but I started my business while I was still at the hospital, and people would be like, oh, it's your little business, your little thing on the side. And it was my thing on the side, but it's, I've built it into something that's actually quite big now.
Yeah, and in yourself you probably knew like it's not going to be little.
And I was working really hard at the same time as working really hard at the hospital. Like when I was at the hospital, that's what I did for work. When I was off, that I was doing my other stuff. But it felt like a little bit of a guilty pleasure, like that you couldn't really I couldn't enjoy it with my colleagues, because it felt like I don't know, it just felt like people would doubt you, like, you'll be back.
No, they really, it really, like, especially in healthcare, there is something about healthcare, it's like, it is wrong. Like, and it's also almost like ungrateful. Like either like, oh, you must be actually like bad at your job or something that you want to get out, or it's just like you're ungrateful. Like why would you trade like helping people for some frivolous, like for something that's more like, like there's always that energy, which I don't know why that is. I think it's just like the culture over the years. Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately they do judge there. I don't know why.
And like I do have times when I miss that acute setting, but I think, maybe if I could do like one day a month in theatres, I'd be like, that would, really sort of get me everything I want, but that's not possible. So I think, I definitely made the right decision, and I'm sure you did too.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, what's coming up for you? What's new for you music-wise, collaboration-wise, tours?
I just had my new single called She Knows drop on Friday, which is only a couple of days ago. So
exciting. That's
out in the world, which is super exciting. It's one of my favourite songs I've ever made. And then towards the end of the year, I will be opening for two of my favourite R&B artists. The name are Jay Taja and Tia Glacier. Such inspirations to me. Have like over 1 million monthly listeners each, and just like really love their music. So it's such an honour to be able to open for them in Australia. And I'm hoping next year, next year I'm going to be putting out my first project. I don't know if it's an EP or an album yet. It was meant to be an EP, but I have so many songs, so I don't know. But you can stay tuned for that. Cool. And I'm super excited for that, yeah.
And hopefully a tour of Asia maybe next year.
Yeah, or even Australia, like definitely been talking about it for a while now. So, yeah.
Exciting. Good things to come.
Absolutely.
Yay. Well, Dani, thank you so much for sharing your story, your bold choices, creative freedom, and unapologetic authenticity. To everyone listening, whether you're chasing a dream, shifting a career, or just trying to find your voice, take this as your permission slip to redefine your path. Check out Dani's music on Spotify under Dani Enli and follow her journey. This is the Blume Edit. Until next time. This is the Blume Edit, unfiltered, unscripted, and unapologetic. Subscribe now and tune in weekly.